Anthropic shipped Claude Opus 5 yesterday. Every headline says the same thing. Near-flagship power at half the price. That's true. It's also the least interesting thing in the announcement. Because buried in the docs is a setting that charges you more, for worse answers. Let's do the real numbers first, then the trap. Everything here is from Anthropic's own pricing page and docs. This is Anthropic's own live pricing page. Every number in this video comes from here, or from their docs, not from a press release summary. Start with price. Opus 5 costs $5 per million tokens in, 25 out. Fable 5, the flagship, is 10 and 50. So yes, Opus 5 really is exactly half the price. But here's the part almost every video got wrong. This is not a price cut. Opus 4.8 costs the exact same 5 and 25. Same price card. What changed isn't the price. It's what you get for it. So the honest framing is, same cost as last generation, a big jump in capability. Not Anthropic slashing prices. Now, is it actually good? Because cheap and mediocre would be an easy sell and a bad deal. On Frontier Bench, an agentic terminal coding test, Opus 5 scores 43.3%. Fable 5, the more expensive flagship, gets 33.7. That's the cheaper model beating the flagship. On knowledge work, it does it again. 1861 against Fable's 1747. And on ARC-AGI 3, a novel problem test, 30.2% versus GPT 5.6 Sol at 7.8. Look at that jump from Opus 4.8. 1.5% to over 30. That's the real story of this release. Okay, so it's cheaper than the flagship and beats it on several tests. Now let me tell you where it loses, because nobody else is. Fable 5 is still ahead on health tasks and on legal benchmarks. If that's your work, don't switch. On Cursor Bench, it lands within 0.5% of Fable 5. Close, but close is not ahead, and Anthropic doesn't claim it is. And Anthropic says plainly it's behind their Mythos 5 model on cybersecurity and autonomous biology. That's a company publishing its own model's weak spots. Rare enough that it's worth saying out loud. Now the part I actually made this video for, the effort dial, and the trap inside it. Opus 5 lets you choose how hard it thinks. Nearly every article says there are 3 settings: low, medium, high. There are 5: low, medium, high, extra high, and max. 2 of them barely got mentioned anywhere. This is Anthropic's actual effort documentation. 5 levels, right there in the table. The default is high, which means most people will never touch this and will never know the cheaper settings exist. Here's the trap. You'd assume max is simply the best setting. More thinking, better answer, higher bill. It isn't always. On 2 benchmarks, Frontier Bench and Artificial Analysis's Coding Agent Index, max scored slightly worse than the setting 1 notch below it, while costing more. To be fair, that's 2 benchmarks, not all of them. On others, max does win. The point isn't that max is bad. It's that more effort is not automatically more quality. So if you take one thing from this video, do not just crank it to max and assume you bought a better answer. There's a second trap in the pricing. Opus 5 has a fast mode, about 2.5 times the speed. Fast mode bills at double. 10 in, 50 out, which is exactly Fable 5's price. Your entire discount, gone from 1 config flag. Same price as the flagship for a model Anthropic positions 1 notch below it. Know which mode you're on. Quick specs while we're here. 1 million tokens of context. 128,000 out knowledge up to May this year. And one more genuine claim. Anthropic calls it their most capable generally available model for scientific research. 10.2 points better on organic chemistry. 7.7 on protein tasks against Opus 4.8. Independent check. Artificial Analysis put it at number 1 on their intelligence index, scoring 61. So what do you actually do with all this? 4 moves. 1. Leave effort on high, the default. Test extra high before you ever reach for max. Anthropic themselves say low and medium give good results at a fraction of the tokens. 2. Check whether you're on fast mode. If you are and you don't need the speed, you're paying flagship price for free. 3. If your work is health or legal, stay on Fable 5. The benchmarks say so, and so does Anthropic. 4. Measure cost per finished task, not per token. Token prices hide how many tokens a model actually burns. That last one matters more than any benchmark on this list. A cheaper token that needs 3 times as many is not cheaper. Recap. Half of Fable 5, same as Opus 4.8. Beats the flagship on coding and knowledge work. Loses on health and legal. And 2 settings, max effort and fast mode, that quietly cost you more than they give back. A few days ago, I said Fable 5 was too expensive for what most people do. Anthropic's answer shipped yesterday, and it's genuinely a good one as long as you read past the headline. I'm Dex. Check your effort setting. See you in the next one.